Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is the Morning Cafe right here on TV47. Right now we're taking a look at a topic here that will interest you very much so in case you love photography. And in studio we have Frank Mungai, who is a photographer, experienced photographer. I've seen some of your work. It's amazing. But just tell us, Frank, where did you begin when it comes to photography?
I started photography in 2015. Immediately after campus. Yeah.
How was the journey towards developing your skill in photography?
It was hard. It started as a bit of a hobby, and then I met someone who told me to start doing it as a career, and then we joined with her. She's a friend of mine called Maureen, and from there, that's when we started working together, trying to do simple shoots here and there, until when I made my skill good so that I was able now to monetize it.
All right.
Yeah.
Many people have tried it, like especially when I go online on Instagram, there are so many photographers, but different people have different qualities. Where do you begin in trying to make yourself, make your work more presentable, taking the nice photographs that are very clear? I mean, what's the process of developing that skill towards making sure that you take the best of photographs?
First, doing a lot of shoots and research. I heavily rely on YouTube and other photographers on Instagram who I used to look up to, and then slowly by slowly, the more shoots you do, the better you become at it. Also investing in equipment and lighting.
All right.
Yeah.
And I know that equipment for anything photography doesn't come easy, and much of it is expensive.
Yeah.
But is there equipment that one can try and get that can help them get photographs that are of good quality and still within an affordable budget in terms of equipment?
Yeah, you can. Because when I was starting out, I used to hire a camera, and then I didn't have lights, so I used to use a reflector, which is relatively cheap. It goes for around 3,000. And slowly by slowly, you just build your way up. If you have the will, you can do it. Yeah.
And for those young people, there's so many of them who are trying out. Like we were talking earlier with one of the guests, and we were talking about the young people. They're into arts, photography, entertainment, anything that looks artistic. So I don't know if you mentor young people in photography. So the question would be perhaps, how do they acquire, the equipment within a good budget? I know you've talked about hiring, but also how much will they even have for hiring? So, I mean, what's workable for them to try and also help improve their skill and probably monetize it in the future?
I think if you have the desire, you'll find a way. Because for me, I didn't even have that camera or whatever. Because I remember at first, there's a friend I met who used to maybe subsidize the rates for me because he saw I was very interested in the art. So I believe if you're really interested, you'll find someone who will help. Or you can just reach out to a photographer, you collaborate. Maybe you can get a camera together. Maybe buy one together or hire one together. Just whichever way, as long as you get to do what you love, you'll always find a way. Yeah. That's what I believe. Let's
talk about your work. What's usually your specialty? Because you do a lot. You do from food to celebrities to weddings. What would you say is your specialty when it comes to photography? Or would you say you're a jack of all kinds of photography?
I would say I love working with people. That's why you find me dealing with so many types of photography. Be it in weddings, I like interacting with my clients, fashion photography, dealing with families. There are different kinds of shoots, but in the end, you end up interacting with people, and that's what I enjoy most about photography.
Any challenges when taking some of these pictures and achieving the quality you want?
Yeah, I would say as a photographer, there is usually that target or quality of photo you want to achieve, and every time you work, you have to work towards it. Where I am, maybe someone will say that my photos are really good, but to me, I always put myself on a higher target. Like I try and achieve something better than what I already have. There are people I look up to online who do some really amazing work. So I just keep challenging myself and not get satisfied with what I'm producing currently.
Talk about the people that you look up to. Who are they? What kinds of, which photographers really inspire you?
In Kenya, I would say Nesh Maina is a really good photographer. I find his work very interesting. Also, there's Buat. He started doing this when I was, even before I started photography. So those were the guys we used to look up to, and you see the quality of their photos and you try and emulate yourself so that you get to be as good as they are. Yeah.
And inspiration-wise, you know, for most of the people who are into arts, there's a place they draw their inspiration. Where do you draw yours?
I think from people. Photography was never an interest before I held a camera. I was actually studying to be a journalist, but then I just tried it and I loved it because of the way I see people from behind the lens. So I think that's why I love doing photography that involves people, because you get to learn a lot from people. You see them through the lens, you see them in a different way from how you'd view them in person. So I think people inspire me. Yeah.
And when you talk about drawing inspiration from people, what things really trigger your creativity when it comes to your interaction with people?
I like doing shoots where people are comfortable. Like I don't really like making them pose in certain ways. Rather, I try to get them in their happy moments, when they are relaxed, when they're free, and then you get you get beautiful images when you get them when they're happy and relaxed. Yeah.
And in trying to like you've said, you draw a lot of inspiration from people and you like to have people comfortable. When you look at the work that you have right now, you've done very many celebrities, you've done weddings, you've done different culinary arts, if I can call them that, in terms of photography. Many young people are not so patient. Yeah. Most of them are not so patient. Many people are calling them the microwave generation. And it feels like your art has to have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
So how do you even develop the patience of, you know what, I'm going to start with a camera, then I grow my skill, and then probably in the future I'll get some money. Yeah. That patience is not there with everyone.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to develop this patience and, you know, patience to the point that now you're earning from your art?
Majorly is because I love it. When I started, I didn't really think it would be a career. I was just doing it because I loved it. And then when I finished school, I decided not to try and look for a job, but rather continue and see where it goes. And because of that love for the work, then the money will now follow. But if you think about the money first, it will be hard for you because you won't have the patience. Yeah.
So how did you develop the patience? And how soon did you start making money from your art?
Well, I would say an year after photography, because it was very hard starting out. Because usually when you approach someone, like if I come to you and say I want to do a shoot for you, you tell me to give you my portfolio. And of course, when you're starting out, you don't have a portfolio. So you end up doing a lot of work pro bono. You just go to someone, hey, can I shoot this for you? I won't charge you, but I'll give you good photos. And obviously when you're starting, your quality is not that good, so that's how you learn. And I think during that process, that's where the patience comes in, because I would go for almost 3 months without a single job, and I'm trying to make it a career and I'm not getting work. So you can imagine how hard it was at first, but eventually, by just doing more shoots and waiting patiently and approaching people, it started paying off.
How are you surviving at that time? Because question, like I'm doing free work, you know, and I'm taking pictures for guys.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do get a lot of you know, offers from different photographers.
Yeah.
They say they want to do a photo shoot with me, and then sometimes you feel so guilty. You're like, hey, you know what? I have to pay something small because I can't just allow you to do free work.
Yeah.
But you know, the patience of knowing I'm not getting anything at the end in the beginning. How are you surviving?
I was really getting by a lot of luck, and I would do some odd jobs here and there that are not photography, like some, maybe you go and get some work to, like I remember I used to drive this truck for a building company where I'll deliver the Mjengo material and all that. But I had faith in myself because I knew that if I persisted on this, there's no way it would fail. So just find a way to survive. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my director is insisting you can't have a camera in studio. You've not taken pictures, but then the initial plan was to have you take some pictures of you know, some of the crew members, and then perhaps you get to look at them. But if you can, I'd like you to take maybe a picture of me while seated here, and then what I'll tell the audience is, in case you want to see what Mungai will have done in terms of taking a picture of me while in studio, then you may have to join us tomorrow to see what the pictures look like, and we'll be sure to make sure that you do see the pictures. So let's just see how this goes. How can I pose?
Okay,
Do you usually tell your clients on how to pose, or we just pose anyhow?
I think you know how to position yourself. So if I see someone knows how to pose, I just let them be free as long as they are comfortable. So what I have with me here is a 50mm lens, and I love using it for portraits. So I'm going to take a portrait of you. Let me get my settings right.
So it all starts with getting the settings
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get my settings right. Maybe check it. Just a minute. Yeah, now I'm ready. And I'll take a shot of you. I'll do a portrait, okay?
Okay.
I see you have a natural smile, which is a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all? Oh, wow. They look so nice. I wish I could show you guys, I mean, how they look. I think it's gone off. You can turn it on for me, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Very clear. I mean, the quality is really good. I don't know if we can be able to zoom in. I don't know if they'll be able to see. Are you able to get this, Victor? I wish we were able to feed in this directly. Let me just put it back on. And that's how it looks. I mean, it looks really good. What I appreciate about photography, as much as I may not know so much about it, is the clarity and the creativity. And my director says take another one. Let's see what he's trying to achieve something. But I think what I appreciate as you just continue taking a picture is the clarity that you usually have with pictures.
Thank you.
Some play a beat.
Yes. Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh wow, this is beautiful. Victor, are you able to see that? Are you able to get that, Victor? Let me just try and hold it straight. I think it's gone off. Yeah. Well, what we'll do, the audience will have to tune in tomorrow.
Yes.
to see what Mungai has done in terms of taking pictures of me. But I think there's so much to learn, especially for people who are trying to go into photography. It seems like listening to your story, it's all about patience, resilience. Going back to even before we come to a close of the discussion, you talked about the fact that you were living from hand to mouth, and you were trying to make sure that you do some odd jobs to finance your dream. Talk about doing everything you can to finance your dream, even if it means doing jobs that you don't want to do, but you're doing them in the long run to finance a bigger dream.
I think for every young person, before you decide on what you really want to do, it's a bit confusing because there's a lot of doubt, like you're not sure if you're really doing the right thing. And maybe you'll find some people who will discourage you and tell you maybe what you're doing is not going to make a profit or whatever. But I think something that I would credit to myself, I had a good support system because of there are 4 people I work with. There is Maureen, the lady who we started the brand with. There is another lady called Lena, and her sister Kenna, and now my brother. So before we didn't really used to work together, but they really supported me. And then eventually they came in when the more invested in photography and the more help I needed, that's when they came in and helped me grow the brand. So if you have a nice support system, it's really easy to push through.
All right. Frank Mungai, thank you so much for talking to us about All Matters Photography, and we hope to have you again. Tomorrow I know we'll put up the pictures that you took. Maybe we'll take more pictures after this segment, and we do appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Well, this has been the lifestyle segment, taking a look at All Matters Photography. I'm told that the brand, Paul Kirobi, is in studio right now, and he's ready to bring you some news in Matukio, Mtambuko, and basically he will be telling us what's happening in the country and of course regionally and globally, bringing you up to speed with All Matters developments on various stories making headlines. Well, this has been the Morning Cafe. Indeed, it's always a pleasure to have you join us. I was supposed to look at the roads, but I'm told we've run out of time. But what I can assure you is that the roads are not looking too bad. Looking at what I have here, they're not looking too bad in most of the areas, but just slight traffic, especially in the CBD towards the roundabout areas. Well, thank you again for watching. My name is Lengari. Until tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 a.m. for the Morning Cafe. Have a good day and God bless.